Hello, my name's Fred Banning. I did a lot of drugs. I hurt a lot of people. And I had this friend named Larry. He used to come over and I'd go get him drugs and we'd get high. And he was at my house one day. And Larry Winston Stillfree came walking up to my door. And I looked out my window to see who was knocking on my door. And I told Larry, hey, there's a dude out here that looks just like you. He said, that's my dad. So at the time, we had just received an M1 carbine rifle. And we had it by our side, and we were deciding whether we were going to shoot him or talk to him. And because he was our friend's son, we decided to talk to him. But we wouldn't let him in our house. I came to Jesus Christ in 1970. It was a really good, bad time in my life. I was doing a lot of drugs. But I accepted Jesus as my personal Savior. And I didn't feel nothing. Like the clouds didn't open up like I thought they would, I didn't feel nothing. But then I realized later on that I wasn't beating people up as much as I used to. I wasn't breaking into their houses. I kind of changed my ways. I became a little bit more patient with people. And then that was my kind of run-in with God for about 30 years. I kind of got lost in the life of crime and drugs. It took a big change in my life to fully let me understand that God was still in my life. We were selling crack cocaine, and we found out that another dealer was going to go to war with us. So we were buying guns, and we got a 12-gauge shotgun that was a dead gun. A dead gun is a gun that's been buried because it killed somebody. So I went to go put a shell in it, and I shut the breech, and it blew up in my hand. And it took my finger and part of my hand. So I came walking around a block, and I walked to my friend Sonny's house because I figured, in my state of mind, I figured Sonny would know what to do. And Sonny wasn't home, but they were having a Bible study off-Broadway across the street. And all these church people came over and started praying for me. And I didn't feel no pain at the time. I didn't feel no pain at all, really. And I think it was God's love to keeping the pain out of my hand. But these people, they came over without even a thought of their own safety or anything. They just came over to help me. That kind of made me wonder, kind of opened my heart again. And then they never left me alone after that. They just kept bugging me. But I think that's when I finally realized that the Lord wasn't there to say, here, you do this or you can't come here. They accepted me for who I was. I live in the West Central neighborhood, and that's where I live is in the heart of the ghetto of Spokane. I sit out my window, and there's this building that was across the street. I look out my window, I call it my television, because you can watch everything in the drug world go on in that parking lot. Every day. There's a meth house right down the street. Well, right across the street. There's heroin down the street. There's prostitutes everywhere. They kept coming around. We thought they were a nuisance at first because they were inviting us to hot dogs and stuff. And they weren't really preaching at us, but they kind of were. But we were getting used to them. And this was Off-Broadway. They brought it into a neighborhood that really needed God's love and understanding. I started hanging out with these Off-Broadway people, and they treated me like I'd been their friend forever. And that kind of surprised me, but it also helped me, and I started going to their Bible studies. And Off-Broadway's been a real big influence in my life. It's helped me to understand that I'm not always alone, that I can talk to somebody, that they're not going to be there and ridicule me or put me down for the things I do or what I look like. They're there to accept me for whatever I do. And that's how Off-Broadway's helped me. It helped me become a better person than I ever thought I could really be. These people came in and got this building, and it had graffiti on it. And me and Larry went over there and got the graffiti off, fixed it so Jan Fullen could paint this lighthouse. and it's the Lighthouse of Hope. And you wouldn't believe how the people of the neighborhood are so happy that God has finally come back into their neighborhood, into their lives. We got a wall, it's got a lighthouse painted on it, and there's like 80 handprints on it. We got gang members' handprints. We got their children, and they're happy about it. They come and show their friends. So, that's a real big influence in the West Central neighborhood. Come to Off-Broadway, it's just one big happy family. They're just there to help you. I'm just thankful that Off-Broadway came into my life. And my name's Fred, and that's my story.